guys? Welcome back to the Haunted Cafe podcast. It is episode 8.
Hey.
And today, we're going to be talking about San Haven Sanatorium in North Dakota.
North Dakota.
As usual, we usually start off with talking about the tea and drink that we're drinking.
We haven't lately, but we decided why not do it today. It's Happy New Year's, guys.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Starting off the new year with, how we originally started the whole podcast thing.
Yep, and how we want to hopefully keep it going, into the new year.
Yeah. It looks kind of dark in here. I'm gonna turn on the kitchen light.
Yeah, it's kind of rainy and it's actually raining right now. So
there we go. That's a little bit brighter, hopefully.
Right. And if you're wondering why we're worried about the lights, it's because right now we're streaming on Twitch.
Yes.
So if you want to watch us do the podcast while you're listening to it, check us out on Twitch at Haunted Cafe Podcast.
Yeah. And we weren't being like, hey, with you guys being on the mic, it's dark, you should really see this. It wasn't like an ASMR thing.
Yeah.
It was because we were recording.
Yeah. So we're both drinking something different today.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about yours first?
I forget what mine is, but mine is.
That's helpful.
It's the Starbucks coffee that I've drank in previous episodes. I think I drank it in a previous episode.
Oh, is it the Kama Sutra or something?
It's not the Kama Sutra.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't trying to say that. I wasn't trying to say that one, but I ended up saying it.
It's the Sumatra.
Oh, Sumatra. Yeah.
It's the Sumatra dark roast.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll be leaving all the links in the descriptions below and on YouTube if you guys want to try out the stuff that we're drinking.
Yeah.
And what I'm drinking is the Stash Blueberry Superfruit. I love blueberry tea.
I like blueberry tea. When I had first started working at Thrift Village, my old job, the first thing in the morning for the first few days, I would wake up early enough to go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a cold blueberry tea with a blueberry muffin and one of those little egg roll things that they got, the little egg burritos.
Yeah. Maybe if I have a little bit left over, I'll put it on ice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you guys the little, what's it called, the pack. I ripped off the S.
And we're going to show you guys in the mic the pack too. Well, here you go. I don't know if you can see it or not.
But so if you want to buy or, if you want to try these out yourself, I'm going to start leaving links to the Amazon sites for both the drinks. And I mean, if you buy something from that link, it'll help support the podcast.
Help us, help it grow, help us be able to do a lot more stuff. Help us get a lot more teas for the future, coffees and stuff like that. Pretty much it's coffee and tea donations. Yeah, that's what it
basically.
is.
And maybe mugs.
And maybe mugs. Yeah. And then we also have incense too.
Yeah.
We have an incense, what is it? It is...
The flowering cactus.
It's a flowering cactus is from Ganesh Sticks, and it's actually really, really nice. I really like it. It's a very energetic...
Mild.
Well, I mean, it's mild, but it's like an energetic incense. It's not something to put you to sleep. It's something to hey, I'm awake.
And it's not overpowering.
No, it's not. It smells really, really good. It literally smells like you just walked into Longwood Gardens, which we went to not too long ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, show the people. Yep. Flowering cactus, Ganesh Sticks. Yep.
And I'll also link this in the description on YouTube.
Yeah, and eventually, once we go through, because we have so many incense that we're backed up on, I want to just go through them all. Yeah. And eventually, we're going to stick to strictly the spooky incense, which is what we have over there. We have it's empty. We haven't used it in a while, but we kept it so we can remember what it is, and it's
ghostly gas or
no, ghostly glow.
Oh.
And it's the Halloween. I tried checking the Ganesh store, and they don't have this. They have. Yeah, it's only stores, but we had gotten this at Hot Topic, not Spencer's, a while ago.
Yeah.
I want to say about 3 years ago. We've had this for a while because we have so many incense that we just, we try saving this for Halloween, but but yeah, and that was the only spot that I could ever find it. I couldn't find it on their website. Yep. So I mean, if we could find it on Amazon, we'll put that down there too. If you guys want to get a little bit spooky, but yeah.
All right, so I think that's all the business we have. So let's get into the San Haven Sanatorium.
Yes.
So, with me, I like talking about the past of stuff, obviously. I like talking about, why, for example, why buildings became building. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
what was the
Why
purpose?
time is time. I'm gonna move this a little bit. There we go. Just because I was having to lean forward a little bit. All right.
Yep. So basically,
Hit my knee. I hit my
Sorry.
elbow. Hit my knee. Hitting all my joints. I apologize.
but yeah, so basically, I wanted to talk about like why it was built, like what were the reasons, and if there were any like problems as to why. Like with the Crescent Hotel, there was like the Michael that passed away while it was being built.
Yeah.
So I always like finding out, you know, what was the reason. So the story of how this place became to be starts with a horrible disease known as tuberculosis or TB, which I don't know if you really know any.
I mean, I've heard of it. You know, I've never contracted it. I didn't know anybody that had it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. I thought it would be appropriate to talk about what they were like fighting against, which they were fighting against it. Tuberculosis was like an extremely bad disease I mean, it still is, but it's curable now.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't understand like what was going on with it, or like even like they knew symptoms, but they didn't know how to solve it, how to cure it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and by the way, we apologize for the camera being a little bit crooked. The stand we have isn't really
it's
the way
bad.
we want it to, but we'll figure it out later. I have a back piece that's stopping it from actually being straight. So.
But yeah, so tuberculosis or TB, which I might call it that, like
just so you don't mix up your words.
it's a potentially serious infectious bit by. Ooh, I can't talk.
See, not even short on it. Yeah, medical terms are hard.
Yeah, it's a serious infectious bacterial disease that mainly affects the lungs. It is a disease that's spread by airborne droplets when an affected person coughs or sneezes. Sounds kind of familiar, huh?
Yeah, right.
It is a partially preventable by vaccine. So, like, you can still get it if you get the vaccine, which sounds familiar again. But
sounds like Omicron.
yeah, but it's partially preventable.
Yeah.
The scary thing that is that it really doesn't have any symptoms. It does, but it's honestly it sounds just like COVID because it's when they do occur, it's usually a cough, which could be a flu, could be COVID, could be just a cold. Weight loss.
COVID is just another name for the flu. It's it literally COVID is like the meaning of COVID is literally common cold.
But I mean, you know, they don't.
Yeah.
They change it. I'm not getting into the whole
we're
COVID
not.
thing, but it's
just
just
look
like,
it up in the medical dictionary. You'll see it.
But I just mean like at first glance, you're not going to know that you had TB.
No.
You know, because the symptoms are a cough, weight loss, night sweats, and a fever. So you could have a flu and not, you know.
Yeah, I mean the weight loss. I don't know. I mean the weight loss, I guess, just because. But
well, when I got sick one time, I lost like 11 pounds just from not eating. I didn't feel like it.
Did you have TB?
Maybe.
Oh, jeez. Maybe I do know somebody. Maybe I have contracted it. I have no idea.
I never went and got, you know, I got better. So I never realized. I realized I never tried this.
Oh. Is it good? It's probably weak because it's only one pack.
It's not bad. It's a little bit sweeter than I imagined. It might be better cold.
It smells amazing.
It does.
It smells like if you I don't know like since Christmas had just passed. If you guys have ever smelled those blueberry scented candy canes, that's exactly what it smells like. It literally smells like a blueberry muffin with like extra sweet on it. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It can be.
It's sweeter.
Yeah,
right?
it could definitely be a lot stronger just because it is just one bag. So.
Well, the water might not have been warm enough.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it might not have steeped properly, but.
Yeah. But anyway, so like I said, it could just to me those symptoms just seem like it could be a flu.
Mm-hmm.
Patients with I lost my place. Patients with active symptoms will require a long course of treatment involving multiple antibiotics. Left untreated, which technically it was in this hospital due to the fact that they didn't really know what they were dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
TB can kill up to half of the patients within 5 years, and it can produce significant illness in others.
Oh wow!
So like it's a really dangerous thing. In the 19th century, tuberculosis was also known as consumption. It's also known as vampirism, I think, because I know I think in England consumption because it kind of I might be thinking of something else, but I thought consumption was like where it kind of like eats you from the inside out, where you start feeling like you look really pale and stuff like that. And like plus, you know, your lungs are messed up. And I know that a lot of people in England were considering it being like, you know, oh, your relative died a vampire, and they would end up like burning. I mean, this is for another episode, but I think that's the same thing.
Vampires are real.
Yeah. But yeah, it's known as consumption. And it had killed 1 in every 7 people of all the people that ever lived.
Wow.
Patients sought a cure in sanatoriums, which is what we're talking about.
Lobotomy.
No. It's the lungs, not the brain.
I mean, still.
Still.
You
Just
think you have the disease. Now do you think you have the disease?
Sorry, we shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, that's messed up.
But yeah, so patients would go to these sanatoriums, just like the one that's here in North Dakota, trying to find a cure. Little is actually known about tuberculosis in North Dakota until the beginning of the 1900s. As TB made its way through the state, the Turtle Mountains became an escape, as people believed that the location was safe from tuberculosis due to the open space and altitude. Basically, like fresh air, because it's your lungs.
Yeah.
But not everyone could obviously go to the mountains, and by 1908, the statistics of TB were alarming. 1 in every 10 deaths, including stillbirths and people who died from violence, was due to tuberculosis.
Oh, wow.
So it was rapid, like,
yeah.
you know. And that was actually from the state health department. At this rate, assuming our population to be 500,000 residents, 50,000 will die of tuberculosis.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. In 1909, Dr. James Grasnick and Dr. Fanny Dunn Quain founded the Anti-Tuberculosis Association and began lobbying the state to build a sanatorium. And in that same year, in 1909, they were given $10,000 to build this sanatorium. It seems like that the first sanatorium began in New York in 1884. So, like, math before it. I was going to figure it out, but I'm like, that's too hard.
Math.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
When Dr. Edward should have figured out how to pronounce this. Thoreau?
I don't know where you're at.
It's Trudeau.
Trudeau. Trudeau. Oh, it's Trudeau.
Trudeau.
Yep,
There
Dr.
we go.
Trudeau. There we go. That sounds really. Why does that sound familiar to me all of a sudden, Dr. Trudeau? I don't know why that just clicked in my head. Like it's definitely Trudeau. That is weird.
But yeah, Dr. Edward Trudeau. He actually caught tuberculosis. Since he thought like, oh, that's it, I'm dying.
I'm
like,
up.
I mean, because they didn't, they didn't have a cure,
I'm
so.
It's in the world.
He decided to go out to the Adirondack Mountains.
Oh, the water
the
mountains?
drinks that we tasted.
On Snack Racers, by the way. If you guys don't know what that is, go check it out. Snack Racers at youtube.com.
But instead of him seeing the last of his days, the doctor actually started getting better. He believed that rest, fresh air, and a good diet in an area with proper altitude and low moisture could save these people's lives. Because it's, to change scenery, it helps your lungs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In 1884, he actually opened the Adirondack Cottage Sanatorium, and this doctor's theory actually proved to be very successful.
Yeah, I mean it would be understandable. It's like if you have COVID and you're having all these breathing issues, you go to the mountains and you're by yourself, you're gonna breathe better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just that atmospheric change can really help in the long run.
Yeah, and especially with back then. Well, I'm not sure back then, but all the pollution and stuff that are in cities nowadays, and even back then, honestly, because
I remember this is straying from it a little bit, and I apologize. But I remember when I was the first time I went down to Tennessee. That was the first time ever in Tennessee I was ever able to do a pull-up. Like literally, I was up in the mountains and I was able to do pull-ups successfully without getting tired. And I can't do that here. Every time I go down to Tennessee in the mountains, I'm able to do pull-ups, but I can't do them here. It's weird how the atmosphere affects you. Yeah, because I was doing the pull-ups where you grab it right here and you go from side to side, not just regular. Those are You know, I was doing it on my grandmother's porch beams, and I've never been able to do that, and I was so shocked about it. I was like, well, how am I able to do this all of a sudden? But I've never been able to do it my entire life. It's weird.
It's the air, man.
Yeah, it had to have been. I mean, I don't know what else it could have been. Like.
Yeah. So this news of the sanitarium spread, or it's either sanatorium or sanitarium.
I want to say it's sanitarium,
well,
just
it's
because
the same-
sanitation
it's
and
the same
sanatorium
thing.
sounds like it's like a mental thing.
No, it's the same thing.
Is it the same thing?
I looked it up.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
They both
remember you
mean the
looking
same
it up.
thing. It's just, you know.
I think sanitarium sounds more like it because it's like sanitizing. You know
Well,
what I mean?
it's
I don't know.
how they wrote it was
Yeah.
with an O, so it's sanatorium.
Okay.
The news of the New York sanatorium, spread to North Dakota, and since they had gotten that funding to build one of their own, they just needed a location for the hospital. They chose the Turtle Mountains because it held the right climate conditions for tuberculosis, the high altitude, low moisture rate, and it was in one isolated area. The site was also protected on the north and west side by hills and trees. The site offered fresh water, and the ground was extremely fertile for growing crops.
That sounds like a freaking paradise.
Yeah. Well, they're basically building a village out there because they basically wanted to like isolate them until they got better. And it's like, okay, well, you know, we need food, we need water, and all that. It's a perfect location for it.
That's one thing I always wanted to do, is create my own village.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I said, to construct an isolated community where people could come and recover. The board made a decision to purchase the site and secured it for $4,052.
Wow.
Not bad. Although they were pleased with the land and the funding they received, Grasnick and Queen, which were the two doctors that, you know, wanted to do this, were disappointed that they didn't have enough funds for the building itself. But eventually they were granted some more money. $25,000 was a lot.
Back then, yeah, 25,000 was quite a bit.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure that I was saying it right. So I was like, wait.
No, you were saying it right. Back then, yeah, 25,000 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like if you have $500 now and you go back in time, you're gonna have so much money in that period of time. It's unreal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So they were given that much money for the construction of admin buildings, $3,000 for cottages, to be built on for the patients, $1,000 for equipment, $1,000 for farm animals, and food, and $500 for a barn. So like I said, they were building a little community. The board that was hired to watch over the build hired H.G. Lakin as a consulting engineer, and the
Vampires and Lycans.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Lykken.
Yeah, it's lichen, but it's not spelled like, you know, the werewolf lichen. But
I was like, what?
you got vampires and werewolves in this thing right now.
Yeah.
Lichens and vampires pairing up to get rid of TB.
That's freaking weird.
It is.
If I'm right with the consumption thing, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But yeah, he was the consultant engineer, and the Northern Construction Company was to construct the water, the sewer, and the admin buildings. Yeah, so that, like I said, they were building a small little community.
Wow.
You know, it sounds like a good idea on paper.
Yeah, it does.
And honestly,
A lot of ideas sound good on paper, though.
Yep.
Until put in action.
Yep.
And then it's like, what the f*** are you doing?
Why did we do this?
Why am I here? How did I get to do this?
After 4 years of construction, Grasnick and Queen were finally able to start treating patients, and in November of 1912, they received their first patient. At this time, the sanatorium was actually called the North Dakota Tuberculosis Sanatorium. Its first year of opening, it only received 12 patients.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm not sure if it was due to like the patients not being able to afford it, or
I was
if
gonna
it
say
was
probably
just
had to do
like
with money.
yeah.
Because I mean, even back then, like people, there is more rich people now, I think, than there was back then. Besides the government, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But like, so it would make sense that there was only that many people, or people who had a decent amount of money that could actually do that.
Yeah, unless they just didn't have the means to travel there and stuff.
Yeah, it could have been that too. It's either
Not
that or
sure.
they were just like, I don't trust it, you know.
That too, yeah. By 1922, 10 years later, it would increase to 104 140. To me, that's still not a lot of
No, it's
patients.
not.
I guess hopefully it's the fact that there just wasn't that many people that needed the hospital.
Yeah,
You know, hopefully it was that, and not just that people couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So once the TP.
The toilet paper. Oh no.
The TB epidemic started to slow down. The hospital stayed busy. In 1973, a big jump. It became part of the Grafton State School. Patients from the school and other places were transferred to San Haven. This even started before the sanatorium became part of that school. So, like, patients would be transferred.
San Haven also sounds familiar besides this story. Isn't San Haven like some sort of like, I feel like it's in a TV show or a movie where it's like some sort of place that people live. Like it's an actual like city that was put into, I feel like it was like a sci-fi movie or like a horror movie.
Well,
it sounds really familiar besides from this.
I'm not sure. I know that, we can look it up real quick.
No, I mean, it's fine. We'll look it up later.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It does sound familiar, but
Yeah.
But yeah, so patients were transferred over to the sanitarium from the Grafton School even before they became like part of the school. And this started in the 1950s. In 1957, a building was remodeled to include the developmentally disabled and elderly. In the 1960s, there was just a section of San Haven that belonged to the school of the feeble-minded, which was still a part of the nearby school, the Grafton State School. So basically, it's confusing because there's a lot of schools, but the Grafton State School, I think that they were just mainly for like the feeble-minded and the elderly, and then maybe they were running out of space or something like that. So then they started bringing patients over to San Haven. So eventually, it phased out of being a tuberculosis hospital and became for like the elderly and the the developmentally disabled.
Oh, okay.
So it's a hard word.
I'm gonna get more coffee here in a second. So.
Okay. Oh, well, actually, we can take a really quick ad break.
I mean, I still have a little bit if you want to wait on that.
No, it's alright.
Okay, alright.
Alright, we'll be right back for an ad break.
Yes.
Alright, guys, this episode is sponsored by Snack Praisers. Now, as you know from the many other episodes that we've done,
yes.
Snack Praisers is our food YouTube channel where we test drinks, food, snacks, ramen, all kinds of stuff.
Everything, pretty much. We
Anything.
just don't cook anything. I mean, we the ramen we did cook. But.
Yeah, but that's just because, we had to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, if you are interested in any kind of food, drinks, snacks, go check it out. I'll leave a link in some description somewhere on YouTube.
Yep, our recent video, we ended the new year with a bang, so if you want to go check that out, check that out.
Basically, we tested Champagne Bang.
Yeah,
it was actually really good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like, I know we've already told the camera this, but it was good.
Alright.
But yeah, whenever you guys get a chance, just go check that out, and that's it for the ad. So.
Alright, guys. So now we're back. So now we just talked about how the Grafton School was bringing patients to San Haven. So in I'm going way back. In 1961, state legislature authorized the Board of Admin to transfer more patients to San Haven.
Wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, exactly. This was not that long ago at all.
Jesus.
At any point in the 1960s, San Haven had a record of 1,300 patients at any time. And we're going to come back to this period. In 1971, North Dakota Tuberculosis Sanatorium was referred to as San Haven State Hospital. In 1973, even though San Haven continued to treat people with tuberculosis, the San Haven and the Grafton School merged together more. In fact, the superintendent for the Grafton School also served as the superintendent for San Haven. So it basically became one.
Yeah.
Nice. And even though I said that they treated people with tuberculosis, this actually stopped in 1973. I guess, it got to the point where people could be treated in regular hospitals for tuberculosis, because now they had more of a cure.
Yeah. I know they had to come up with a bunch of cures in the 60s just because of all the diseases that were going around.
Yeah, there was a lot of diseases going around.
The 60s, the 70s, and the lower part of the 80s.
Early part.
Yeah, lower,
Yeah.
early, lower,
Yeah.
whatever.
And sadly, the state resources did not cover all of the costs for maintaining San Haven, and questions concerning the care of the disabled patients arose. And once again, I'm going to bring that up later. But there were, I know I wrote it in here somewhere, but there are people that are, I don't know if they're still around now, but there were people that were working there at San Haven when it was, still functioning, and they swear that nothing bad happened, which I understand, like, maybe nothing did happen, but at the same time, you never know.
Yeah.
With as many patients as they had, there was overcrowding, obviously they didn't have enough resources. I think, I'm not sure if I wrote it down, but I could have swore I saw where there was, like, 400 patients to, like, maybe 4 people. I could be exaggerating.
Wow.
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I wrote that. I'm not sure. But I know that it was, like, a large patient to staff ratio. Like, to the point where people can't take care of that many people.
Sounds like what's going on right now.
Yeah. And this actually brought around a lawsuit in 1980. This brought a change between how people were treated in the hospital. In 1987, San Haven closed.
I was going to ask if it closed down or
Yeah.
not.
Oh yeah, it's abandoned now.
Yeah. My coffee got really watered down from that second dose. It tastes disgusting.
Gosh darn it. In 1992, the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa tribe purchased the property from the state. So now it's actually owned by them.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
And that's basically, like, the timeline of San Haven. Like, from when it opened to when it closed.
Wow.
Now I wanted to talk about how the people were actually treated in the sanitarium. So during the
Now we get into the good bits.
Yeah. It's kind of gruesome. Well, not really, but you might not like it. Because I talk about, like, the treatments, and some are a little messed up. So, trigger warning, it might get a little squeamish.
Yeah, if you got a weak stomach, leave now.
I mean, it's not horrible, but that could just be me really,
Yeah.
me being weird.
I mean, I play Mortal Kombat and GTA, and so I've seen some things.
I play Mortal Kombat.
I grew up with
They are.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat is gruesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So during the tuberculosis era in the hospital, it seems like that they weren't fully neglectful of the patients. It just seems as that they, I can't read my writing. It seems that they had the means to actually take care of the patients back then. Because like you said, like I said, we both said, that there was only like 12 patients the first year and then like 100 patients the next year. Yeah. So it wasn't a huge like
No,
ratio.
it wasn't a huge influx at all. Or influx. Is influx meaning
I think
in? Or is influx
I think
meaning
influx is when it increases.
I don't know.
I don't know. But
I'm using words I don't know.
But even with all of that, like, 50% of the tuberculosis patients still died. But that was mostly due to the fact that no one knew exactly how to treat tuberculosis yet.
I'm gonna put some instant coffee in my coffee real quick just so I can get that coffee taste back instead of just flavored water.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead.
Okay. In fact, one of the most common cures was to collapse a lung.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It was believed that the lungs needed a rest, which would give the lesions, which are bumps in the lungs, it would cause by the tuberculosis a chance to heal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think they still do that nowadays.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. Like you're not giving the lung. You're breaking the lung. You're not giving the lung a break.
You are giving it a rest because it's not pumping. Like it's not moving. So like all the tissues and stuff are kind of just like.
Oh, I guess.
It's to me it's like a really scary like
thing to think about.
Yeah, it's a really scary concept. Like you're collapsing lung.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, what if it doesn't
inflate?
Come back. But yeah, so I guess that's one of the things that they would do. The lung would be deliberately collapsed through a technique used from 1882 onwards.
Wow.
This was done by injecting oxygen and nitrogen into the chest cavity and increasing the pressure until the lung collapsed.
Which is interesting because I just found out Star Talk, which is a little, it's like a intellectual podcast between Neil deGrasse Tyson and I forget what the other dude's name is, but the scientist guy, and he was literally just, I watched a video earlier talking about how like our air that we breathe is literally only like 20-something% oxygen and the rest is nitrogen.
Yeah.
Like we're breathing nitrogen, we're barely breathing any oxygen. Like.
So the collapse wasn't permanent. So they would still have to come back every few weeks for more gas to be pushed into your sternum. I think that's what it is. More than 100,000 patients were treated this way.
Wow.
Another treatment was called Phrenic Paralysis. Phrenic. I think that's how it is. It's PHRENIC.
I mean, yeah, that's the only word that would make sense to me.
Yeah, so phrenic paralysis. Here, a patient would be examined for lung lesions, and the phrenic nerve, which runs next to the lung, would be crushed.
Ooh,
yeah, it's
Jesus.
just all this sounds so horrible. Why'd you do that? This would cause the diaphragm on that side to be temporarily paralyzed, and the lung would not inflate.
The flung would not inflate.
Yeah.
The flung inflation.
And it wouldn't inflate until the nerve healed.
Wow.
So like you would have like half. I feel like you would have half breathing capacity.
Yeah.
There was another treatment called thoroplasty. That was 10 times more invasive and permanent. It was another way to collapse the lungs by removing portions of the skeleton which supports the chest wall, so like up here, causing the lung to collapse permanently. This is effective because the tuberculosis bacteria requires oxygen to survive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Like lungs directly use oxygen, so it's attacking the source.
But for me, it's like
I read The Art of Sun Tzu.
But if the tuberculosis bacteria, I mean, obviously we have to live on oxygen, but if the tuberculosis bacteria lives on oxygen, why would going to the mountains help it? Because you're just getting
you're getting more oxygen.
Fresh oxygen.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it has something to do with the bacteria that's also in your lungs. Like, there's something with the mix that also helps it, not just oxygen. And, like, I think, like, with you move into a higher thing, technically it lessens your oxygen, which, like, it lessens it the higher you go. So maybe it was making it hard for the tuberculosis to take, the TB, to take effect because it wasn't getting the proper amount of oxygen, but you felt like you were breathing better because it was fresh air.
Maybe.
Like, it wasn't polluted. Like, if you go up onto a mountain and the mountain is severely polluted, you're probably going to die, like, within minutes, just because of how bad it would be. Because
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I mean, I have no idea.
I shouldn't get into it this much, but but the complications of this surgery could be disfiguring or even fatal because you're literally taking a piece of the chest cavity out. Honestly, with just even those treatments for tuberculosis, regardless of how they were treated by the staff, which we won't know. To me, that would bring so much negativity to a place, just because those are terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like at the time it probably wasn't as terrifying. That's probably why, like, though, if there were workers that are still alive and they say there was nothing that was going on.
Well, this is way before this. This is like 1940s.
Oh, okay.
The 1960s with those workers are the ones that were dealing with like the disabled and the elderly.
Oh, okay.
Which this is for TB. So.
Oh well, anyway, I was gonna say at the time, like in the 40s, that probably wasn't as scary because there's probably a lot more scary stuff going on in the 40s.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just like I guess nowadays I'm like.
Yeah. I mean, they might still practice that today. They might still do something similar.
I think
not as intense, probably, but.
I think they still do the collapsed lung thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not scary. It's probably what you have to do in order to get rid of this disease. You know what I mean?
But still, back then, I think it was like. I feel like it was more of a higher risk of like people passing away from it.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have the technology to actually bring them back.
Yeah, so I feel like that could be like part of the reason why it's so negative now.
Yeah, and at the time, you know, like I said before, it probably wasn't negative at all. They were like, oh, well, that's just standard procedure. Like,
well, because I'm saying we're gonna get into talking about like the ghosts and stuff that are there.
oh, there's ghosts. Okay, I thought you were just gonna talk about how effed up it was.
It's a haunted cafe podcast, Alan.
Oh,
We talk
true.
about spooky stuff. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about like the ghosts and stuff that are there, and there's a lot of like negative energy. That's why I keep saying that. You know, maybe with just like the amount of people that were dying, and
That's
like,
probably what it was.
Yeah.
Just the amount of energy that was being throughout the entire building from people passing away was just like made negative ghosts.
Every day people are coming in with a possibility of not being able to make it through that treatment because it was just so, you know, so intense. And plus, what if they collapse your lung wrong and
which it was another
something
possibility.
happened, you know, like there's, you know,
because they didn't have the technology then that we do now, so it's definitely a possibility.
I mean, it could still happen today.
Yeah, it could still happen today if you're like highly inexperienced, but.
After it became a home for the developmentally disabled, there were alleged reports of understaffing, mistreatment, and neglect, which is where you were talking about the people coming back. I couldn't really find too much about this. I feel like mostly because no one's gonna like outright be like, yeah, I abused those people, you know. Yeah. And like, I doubt the hospital is gonna record evidence of neglect, especially if it's at a high amount.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not only that, because even nursing homes now, with a lot of the nurses that like purposely kill their patients because they get annoyed with them, which is definitely a thing. Because I just seen a TikTok on it recently. It's absolutely crazy. It's literally, and like a lot of like feminists and stuff like that are like really mad that like male like doctors are performing this stuff, but it's literally female doctors that have the most murder rate when it comes to patients. Yeah. Like they're higher up there.
Well, there was even, I mean, this is going into the true crime section, but there was even a lady, I think her name was like Jolly Molly or
Jolly Molly.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Wow.
And she would kill her patients for no reason. Yep. Because I don't even really think she was getting like money or anything from it. She was just done with them.
I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people like. I mean, there's still a lot of people who do want to put their grandmothers and their mothers in nursing homes, but I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't want to, because there are nurses that care, but there are also nurses that literally just want the money. Like they know they get paid a lot and they're in that field because of that, and if you tick them off, they know they have the power to just.
Yeah, I mean nowadays it would be thoroughly investigated.
Yeah, it would be thoroughly investigated.
They do autopsies and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was even a girl that posted a selfie of herself on Facebook with a dead patient, like with a dead elderly, saying like, oh, like literally admitting like, yeah, she died because I killed her because she pissed me off. Like it's messed up. Like
man, I mean we went down a weird rabbit.
Yeah, we did chasing rabbits.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I couldn't really find too much about that, and there is a vocal group of former employees who swear by the fact that nothing bad happened there, and I'm not saying that they're like to blame, that that there was.
They might not know. They would have had no idea. They were probably just a good employees that did their job and did not give a shit about everyone else.
Yeah, that went there, did their job, and took care of the patients. There could be other people that were doing stuff we won't know.
Yeah, we have no idea.
And I'm not blaming those people whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's not going to get thoroughly investigated properly because it's
closed down now.
Well, yeah, it's closed down now, but even then, it was a governmentally owned building, so they're like, oh, we're just going to hide that because we don't want to look bad, So
I think it might change hands out of like governmentally owned, but at the time it was, the place. So the place has been abandoned since it closed, and people have come out to the site to investigate the ghosts. Sadly, there was one death in 2001. A 17-year-old boy was trespassing because it is illegal to be on that property. Just let you know.
It's illegal to be on any property that you don't own.
Yeah. Well, I think
doing what he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, he was just ghost hunting, which I thoroughly understand, but. Get permission and stuff.
Get permission. If you can't get permission, don't do it because if something happens to you, they're gonna be like, "Well, he was an idiot." So.
Well, yeah. Once you find out what happened to his kid, I feel awful for him. Yeah. But it's like you break the law.
You did it to yourself, honestly.
Yeah. So he was trespassing on the site when he slipped near the edge of an elevator shaft, falling 40 feet to his death. And that could have been prevented if you
it could have been
out.
prevented if you just stayed away. Like, I get that you're curious, but like if you're going to be curious, make sure you're cautious about it.
Go with somebody else.
Yeah,
don't go by yourself.
Yeah, don't go by yourself. Don't be stupid, please.
Yeah. Because I know that there are people that go out and investigate, and it's fine. Because a lot of people don't like do damage or anything, but bring somebody with you, so at least you know that if something happens, they can go for help.
Yeah, and make sure it's somebody that you know for a fact that you can trust. Yep. Because if you happen to fall down an elevator shaft like this, and you have somebody with you who was like, meh, they're going to be like, well, I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah,
he just randomly up and vanished. I'm not getting in trouble for trespassing. Screw that. He died. He did it to himself. Yeah. There are people who are like that.
Yeah, it's really
so make
sad.
sure you trust this person. Like.
Yeah, it's really sad.
And make sure they're not the ones who push you.
Like,
sorry.
No, you're fine. San Haven Sanatorium is one of North Dakota's most notorious haunted spots. In fact, it is so notorious that it has been featured on shows such as Ghost Adventures.
Of course.
I'm not getting into the legitimacy of Ghost Adventures because I used to watch it when I was younger, but now growing up, I'm like,
I've only seen a few. I think the only episode I ever seen is when they were on the
Lighthouse.
No, the battlefield.
Gettysburg?
Yeah, the Gettysburg. That's the only episode I ever watched my entire life, besides whatever you showed me later. But when I was younger, that was the only one I watched because I was like, at the time I was really interested in history, so I was like, man, this is really cool.
I mean, it is.
Some of it, like I remember some of it I was watching, I was like, I don't know.
I mean, it is a good show to watch for like, history and stuff like that.
Once again, it's a TV show, so
you have to take any like paranormal TV show
with a little bit grain of salt.
Yeah. So those who have visited, not just the Ghost Adventures, reported seeing apparitions and noises like babies crying. And I even put a note in here just in case anybody that's listening to this and is near this place, it is private property and anyone who visits is trespassing. The place is extremely dangerous, as we have already suffered one tragedy. We don't need you to be another, so stay safe.
Stay away.
According to the episode of the Ghost Adventures, I'm not going to talk about like what they found because we have no way to prove it. I wanted to talk about some of the parts of the episode. There was a couple that appeared on the show. Their names are Julie and Corey Lavallee. Lavallie.
Lavallee, probably.
Yep. I'm horrible at pronouncing names, so sorry.
It could be Lavallee. Who knows?
Yeah. They were investigating the site when Julie said that she was attacked by an unknown entity. She actually had 3 stretch marks. Man, that's messed up. She had 3 scratch marks across her chest.
Jeez. Okay.
They both believe that the entity came home with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
normally that's like a normal thing when it comes to ghosts and demons or anything like that. Whenever you are personally attacked, you're not getting attacked just to be attacked. It's attaching itself to you. That's how it gets into you.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that, but it's possible.
Yeah.
There's also underground tunnels, because I was looking at pictures, and I'm gonna post pictures of this place like all over. So if you follow us on any of the socials, you're gonna see them. The underground tunnels are so creepy.
I can imagine the underground tunnels.
Yeah, they were used to transport bodies to the crematorium. They were also used. There were a lot of tunnels. Some of them were used just for the staff to get around to different buildings during like the winter time.
Yeah, which makes sense because if they're far spread and you get underground, you can have a heating system and everything. So.
Well, plus it's also North Dakota winter, which I think is like really rough, or at least it used to be. Plus, you're in a mountain, so you probably get like 10 times more snow. Yeah.
I can imagine how creepy it was even then, even with the lights on. Even with the lights on in the tunnels.
Yeah, because I wonder how like dark it was, because maybe they didn't even light it that well.
Maybe.
But yeah, so the place was actually so large that it was given its own zip code.
Oh wow!
Because like I said, it's not just like a building. I mean, maybe now it might be. It might just be one building. But back then, it was the cottages, it was the barn, it was the animals and the crops and all that stuff. So it was given. It was
literally a resort for,
for tuberculosis patients.
Yeah.
So that's all the information that I have. but I do want to ask
Crazy.
the question to you.
Okay.
Would you spend the night in there?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because I don't need no TV ghost attacking me.
I don't want to catch TB from a ghost. You don't want to be scratched?
No.
I don't want to be scratched, but I wouldn't mind walking around.
I mean, I wouldn't mind walking around if it's during the day and there's lights on.
And there's lights on.
I'm a big dude, and I don't get afraid of much. But as I get older, and from what I've experienced in my past, which if you guys want to check out that video where we talk about what we've experienced in our past, go check that out.
That's the first episode of T-Tales.
Yeah, T-Tales. But just from what I've experienced, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I like, you have to, in order for it to affect you, they say you have to believe it. Just like in order for you to, think God exists, you have to believe in God in order for you to have that emotional connection to whatever. And I believe that stuff, so I would get attacked. This is for believing. This is for thinking you can't get touched.
Well, you might not be attacked, but you're gonna find something there.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to because no, I'm good.
Yeah. So
you can't ask the ghost questions. I mean.
Well, yeah, you can.
You can, yeah, but you have to have a certain radar and know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, depends, because you can have the EVPs, or you can even use a flashlight. Because once again, taking TV shows with a grain of salt, but I've seen TV shows where they've talked to ghosts using like flashlights, where it'll it's like one of the turned ones, and it'll just all you have to do is twist it ever so slightly, and the light turns on.
Huh.
So like I said, grain of salt, but I think I would stay there. I don't know if I would stay there, but I would do a walkthrough at night. As long as I can
here's the thing.
As long as I can leave, and everybody tells me where the elevator shafts are.
Well, see, here's the thing. You can talk all you want that you would stay, but literally, when we go through a haunted trail, that is not real and is not even scary.
But that's the point, is it's not real.
But you're terrified by that, though.
No, but there are people in costumes, and who the fuck knows who they are? They could be murderers. People scare me.
Yeah,
it's not ghosts. I mean, ghosts can hurt you, but it's people. People can do a lot. I feel like people can do more damage quicker than a ghost. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying ghosts don't have power, because people get fucked up.
People get thrown into the air.
But I'm just saying, people scare me more. It's just.
I mean, I guess I don't see it that way. There's that risk, but at the same time, it's just a person in a costume. Which doesn't. I don't get terrified whatsoever on haunted. No matter what haunted trail it is, I do not get scared. I make fun of the people in costumes. I give them hugs and I talk to them like they're normal people because they are.
Hey, give me a hug.
I got a hug from a big tree when I went to
Eastern State.
The Eastern State Penitentiary.
Which
whatever
that's haunted too.
Yeah, supposedly, but I didn't see no. But I didn't see no ghosts while I was there. The only ghosts I'd seen were the people in costume. Yeah. Unless I happen to see a ghost and not realize it. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah, but I got a hug from a tree, so I'm like, it's not scary. It's not.
Guys, I got a hug from a tree.
He all he did was hurt my tattoo when I first got it. That was it. Because he scratched it.
And then I had one other question. Do you believe that there are ghosts there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe.
I believe there are ghosts everywhere. Even right now.
I knew you were going to do that. But I believe that there are ghosts there just because of all of the stuff that happened. Minus it's a hospital. Mm-hmm. Any hospital you go to, there's probably going to be ghosts there just because people have died there.
Yep. No matter what, that's why, me, I never feel comfortable going into a hospital. I hate going into hospitals. I absolutely hate it because I don't feel comfortable. Yep. I don't care how safe everyone thinks a hospital is. There is some really effed up shit going on in that hospital, and I don't want no part of it.
And you wouldn't even know it's there.
Even when I get sick, I don't go to the doctor. I'm good. I am good. I will drink some tea, eat some soup, and lay down for about 2 hours. I'm good. I'm not going to the hospital. If I die, I die. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to a hospital.
So you'd rather haunt me at home than haunt a hospital, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Because there's a chance in that hospital, if I die in a hospital and I'll become a ghost, there's going to be a ghost. It's going to be like prison. There's going to be a ghost that's bigger than me, scarier than me, and he's going to do stuff to me as a ghost that I'm not going to appreciate.
Oh my god. You're
I'm taking it to a whole new level.
I was like, I don't even know what to say to you.
Good. That's all I wanted.
Alright, well, and ending on that note. Yeah, so thank you guys watching on Twitch.
Yes.
Make sure that you go check out this video on YouTube when it gets posted on Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yep.
And check us out on Spotify. We have TikTok. I have a Twitter.
Didn't you?
For this
Have you started
for this.
for this podcast. Have you started a Facebook yet? I don't remember.
Yeah, I have a Facebook.
Oh, so you
I
got
don't
a Facebook,
really,
yeah.
I don't really
You
post
do
too much
yeah.
on there.
Facebook's a pain in the butt.
But the episodes do get posted. Like as soon as they get posted to Spotify, it jumps over to YouTube or Facebook too. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right.
Yep. So yeah, check it out. Most of the place, I think most of it is the Haunted Cafe or it's the Haunted Cafe podcast.
Yeah.
Either way, you'll probably find us.
Yeah.
You can
just look for that little symbol with the ghosties and the coffee mugs.
Yep. And you can send us an email at thehauntedcafe@gmail.com.
If you've ever gone to this place, let us know and let us know what you've experienced.
Oh yeah, I would definitely.
That'd be interesting to hear.
Yep, I would definitely be interested to hear that. Or if you want to just tell your ghost story, because we want to do it episode 2 for the details.
Yeah.
Not sure when we're going to be able to do it, because we don't really have any stories yet, but...
We only had the few that we said on that one so far, so...
And I do have one DoorDash one for you. It's more of like a creepy story than like a ghost story.
Okay.
But...
For those of you who don't know, I do Grubhub and DoorDash,
Yep.
so those are my main money maker, and I like it. I get at least $30 an hour, so...
Yep. But yeah, so, do all that, and make sure you check the links below on YouTube to see all of our teas and the incense
the
and all that
coffees.
stuff.
We'll even put this, if we can find this candle that we have lit right here, Sunset Citrus, we'll put that on it.
Smells good.
It does, smells really good.
Yep. Alright.
Alright, well, we will talk to you guys, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Yep.
So, see you guys on Spotify.
Oops, I keep pressing the button. Alright. So.
And once again, if you like this stream, make sure you follow us on Twitch. So that way you can get notified whenever we start to stream.
Yep.
And then if you happen to watch us after it's uploaded, no worries, but follow us. So that way you know when we do it.
Yeah.
So,
we hope you guys enjoy this, because honestly, it's so fun to do it.
It is. So, but yeah, you go onto YouTube. Make sure you check everything out. Check out all our other, channels that we have talked about on the Twitch streams. And yeah, we will see you guys the next time we go live.
We don't have anybody in the chat, right?
No, we have nobody in the chat at all.
I was worried.
We only have one viewer, which is me checking us out. So we need more. And which is weird because you have like what, almost 600 followers on TikTok now.
Yeah, but
like, come
people
on.
are busy, man.
Yeah, they just want to watch quick little clips. Oh yeah, they're doing that. I'll look that up later. That's probably what they're doing. Honestly.
I'm not going in on it.
Yeah,
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be doing the podcast. I enjoy it. I like researching all the stories and stuff. So
it gives you something to do, and then with everything that I'm doing, it gives me something to do, and it's a good thing to listen to first thing in the morning. It gets my mind going a little bit, increases the creative process. So it's beneficial all the way around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will see you guys the next time we stream. Once again, make sure you follow us so you get notified when we stream.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get really close to the camera and end this. So see you guys later.